Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm bringing you guys the match review of our 3-1 loss to Tottenham. But before I get straight into this video, a few things please. If you're new to this channel and you want to subscribe, press the bell notification button. If you already subscribed to this channel and you still haven't pressed the bell notification button, please press that. It's the biggest favor you can do for me. It'll take you less than a second. Hit that bell notification button and stay tuned to all things Blue Lines TV. And also you guys smash that like button. Help me get more than 500 likes for this video. But anyway, you guys, getting straight into the match review. And when I initially saw the lineups, I think a lot of us felt this optimism. I felt that this lineup is really going to show us how you're going to approach this game, because we were going to take the game to Tottenham, not just sit back and defend deep. And you guys, in the first half in particular, it was an impressive performance. We were pressing Tottenham very high. We were winning a lot of the second balls as well. There was an intensity in the tackle. There was grit in the display as well, and I felt that we were the better team in the first half. For example, with our pressing, we were making sure that Spurs couldn't play out from the back because Morata would press Lloris. Plus, we were pushing Willian and Hazard up as well to really occupy Spurs' defence as well. And we were also nullifying Dembele a lot in this game as well. Whenever Dembele was on the ball, someone was closing him down, someone was getting straight into him. And Dembele was getting dispossessed quite a lot in the first half. CONTE in particular was winning a lot of tackles against him. We were seeing Cesc Fabregas jumping for aerial balls, sliding in as well, and winning 50-50s himself. And this was important that we did start the game with this intensity and we did take the game to Spurs, because this really reduced the impact of their wing-backs in this game. They weren't really able to get forward as much because they had their defensive responsibilities to keep and maintain because of Willian and Hazard and our wing-backs getting forward as well. And especially in the first half, the wing-backs were really isolated from their general play. And this worked towards our favour because defending off the ball, we were using a 5-4-1, and in particular with this 5-4-1, our midfield was very narrow. And this really helped create a lot of overloads against Spurs defensively, because we basically had 7 versus 4, obviously, with Spurs, with how they like to attack. Their players that operate in the half spaces and their strikers and their cam, they like to play very central and narrow, and then they have their wing backs pushing up to basically create like a 6 up front in a way. By really keeping our compact shape in the middle, being very tight as well, we were basically outmanning them. We were able to have 2 men on each one of their front players, and this really helped us win a lot of balls and start a lot of counter-attacking opportunities, because of course when the wing backs are pushing up, we were able to constantly attack the spaces in behind. And you guys, when the goal did come, it was well deserved in my opinion. Now, Victor Moses did have a bit of an eventful game. A lot of times he was in the spotlight for a lot of crucial things, but in this moment in particular, he put in a fantastic ball. It was in a very dangerous area where Lloris really wasn't able to get to it as much, and it just went over the head of Sanchez, and Morata, who's incredible in the air, directed it into the bottom of the net. And I felt that I had this inkling that Morata and Moses were going to link up effectively at one point in this game, and it came to fruition. Now with Moses, there were times in the final third where maybe his distribution was a bit sloppy. I'm thinking in terms of not keeping the ball as well as he normally does. If a through ball's coming to him, he's miscontrolled it and it's gone off the pitch. That's not really what he does. But after the first goal, we were really looking like the team that was going to get the second goal. For example, the amount of counter-attacking opportunities we were creating were quite a lot. We were really able to test and pepper Lloris as well. But, this happens all the time, and I make this criticism all the time, but just not very efficient when it comes to counter-attacking chances. It's almost as if, of course, these guys in training, everything's improvised. So I kind of get this impression that no one really knows what to do at all times, because, this game really summed up our inefficiencies with the counter-attacks, in particular Alonso. And with Alonso, I'm going to get into him later on, but I was really not impressed with his performance at all in this game. And honestly, with the space this guy gets and the freedom he gets, he really doesn't do much offensively. If he's not getting inside the box, then he really doesn't provide anything in this team whatsoever. That's the reality. Yes, I know that there's been times where he scored crucial goals against Spurs in particular this season, free kicks as well, etc, but end of the day, that's a bonus in my opinion. he doesn't do his main things well enough. Offensively, he really doesn't contribute much at all. And yeah, I'm gonna get into this guy later on. Now, just referring to my previous point earlier about how we were basically overloading Spurs defensively, obviously creating 7v4 opportunities, because with our midfield and as well as our back three as well, we were able to outman Spurs in those areas. But this came at one expense, because Spurs weren't really able to play through the middle as effectively because they were getting crowded out. This meant that certain players, in particular Eriksen, were dropping deeper so they could try and test their chances from distance. And honestly, this was becoming an issue. As the first half was ending, Eriksen was testing Caballero with more long shot opportunities, and in a way, the goal was kind of coming. I know that Victor Moses is going to get a lot of criticism for this, but end of the day, how many times have we seen him play that same pass really? And yes, it was unfortunate that it didn't reach him this time, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done before that goal goes in. For example, this is the issue sometimes with how we defend off the ball in terms of keeping our shape and position. We do concede a lot of long shot opportunities, but we have to give credit to Eriksen. Unbelievable, world-class goal. It was just world-class, honestly. I make this point all the time. For me, I don't really see the difference between De Bruyne and Eriksen. I kind of think they're the exact same type of player. But I do think it's harsh that Victor Moses gets all the blame for that. It was just like last season. I mean, the goal Eriksen scored was very similar. I mean, it was almost identical to what Henderson scored. And Cahill got a lot of criticism for that. Now, at the time when I saw it, I really wasn't giving Cahill grief for that, because yes, its clearance wasn't perfect, but then a lot needs to be done from that type of distance, from 30 yards out with that type of shot. So we just have to give credit that it was just an exceptional world-class score, and nothing really could have been done about that. I mean, something could have been done. Maybe if someone meant to close him down. I mean, if you see them take 2 long shots already, surely you're thinking maybe it's time to close this guy down. But Eriksen's constantly always been a thorn in our side. And the reason why Eriksen's always been a thorn in our side is because of the positions that he takes up. But anyway, the first half ends and there's still that optimism in the air because we have been the better team. But in the second half, everything changes. Now, one thing that was noticeable in the second half was the fact that we weren't pressing as aggressively higher up the pitch. And in a way, Spurs' defence were able to get on the ball and they were able to start passing and keeping possession at the back, recirculating possession and obviously starting to dominate the midfields. And it's no surprise that 2 of the goals we conceded came from passes out from deep, because no pressure was applied to the guys that made the passes, in particular Dyer, and I think it was Vertonghen as well. Now for Ali's goal, honestly, I thought it was criminal. Now, you guys, I constantly make fun of Arsenal for that type of defending, a ball right through the middle. We've never seen that type of nonsense at all this season. But yeah, you guys, as we've been seeing maybe in the later half of the season, Aspie and Christensen really haven't been as in sync as they were at the start of the season. Now, I thought they were both at fault for that goal. I mean, for Ali to be able to run right through the middle, I mean, of course, it was a world-class pass, and credit to Ali, it was an amazing goal, fantastic first touch, and dink over the keeper. But now we're starting to notice these individual mistakes from our defence, and normally it comes at the cost because of a lack of communication. And I think that's the most important thing. And when you have David Luiz playing at the back, he was controlling and marshalling the defence, and that was one of the reasons as to why we were even tighter at the back last year. But it was a very, very shoddy goal, and Christensen's form hasn't been particularly great as the season's gone on. And it gets worse after that, and the game is effectively sealed when Spurs get the 3rd goal. And I'm sorry, I thought it was criminal. I thought it was really poor. It was really pathetic, I must say. Of course, pace, Alonso got beaten for that. Of course, we know this guy has no acceleration. He's got no pace. But even then, it was the reaction to how we were dealing with that little, that little melee inside the box. And I'm just thinking, I'm looking at this moment, I have to be objective. Christensen. Now, of course, with Christensen, he's very young. We can't forget that. I'm really not going to be harsh on him this season at all because it's part of his learning experience. We have to accept that. It's okay to be frustrated in the right context, which I think I'm doing. But one thing he needs to learn is he needs to learn when to get dirty sometimes. Now, for me, I'm surprised that he didn't think to slide down once inside the box then. If that was Terry, any other defender, that's Luiz. They're sliding in the box, getting the body in the line, and Spurs aren't getting the 3rd goal from that. I thought it was so poor. I mean, you're seeing the hesitancy as well from him and Alonso, but in particular, Christensen should have taken responsibility and dealt with it. Yeah, if you get hurt a bit, accept it, slide in there, get rid of that ball. He should have done that. There was no excuse, in my opinion, not to do that. Of course, it's in his nature. You know, he's a very classy defender, but of course, as he grows up, I'm hoping that not that the grit's necessarily important, but in particular situations like this, you need to learn when to maybe like go against your values in a way and just really do the basics. And I felt it was really poor by Christensen to not deal with that. But after that, you guys, the game was basically over. Of course, we know Conte isn't going to react, and this guy makes substitutions in the last 10 minutes. I mean, really, with Conte, so often you just see that he gives up in a game. He doesn't attempt anything, doesn't try to do anything new. I'm thinking if you're 3-1 down, it's a game where you should be trying your hardest to try and get back and win things. The manager isn't even doing his bit. I mean, to make substitutions in the last 10 minutes, what are you hoping to achieve? Nothing. You're not even giving those guys enough time to try and do anything. Now, the guys that came on, Giroud, Emerson, and Hudson-Odoi. It was nice to see Hudson-Odoi, of course, but I noticed that he was on the bench and pressure wasn't. I was thinking, we're probably going to be seeing this guy later on in this game. I mean, that's a big statement called by Conte to leave Pedro out to play Hudson over him. But you guys, I was seeing some nice things with Hudson-Odoi. Hopefully he gets more game time. It looks like you guys, you've not got Champions League football for next year. Emerson, I hope to God we start playing this guy. I want to see some pace on that left-hand side. I mean, the way this guy was galloping in that last 10 minutes, that's the type of stuff we've been missing. And he really gets to the byline, which Alonso just never does. So, it's not even... I mean, really, that's the only thing I can look forward to till the season ends, to be honest. Now, yeah, you guys, we really... a bit of individual mistakes. I think the manager as well, he doesn't know how to control the game at all. I sound kind of harsh, but I'll be honest with my opinions. I've always felt maybe Conte is vastly overrated. It sounds like I'm saying this in hindsight, but I mean, I've already known what the style of manager he is. I've seen Juventus play before we signed, so I knew what to expect. But really, it just doesn't really do it. Doesn't do us any favors at all, does he? Anyway, you guys, I'm going to end this match with you right now. Please hit that like button if you haven't. Help me get more than 500 likes for this video. And also press the bell notification button. Honestly, now there's no excuses. If you're a new subscriber, hit that bell notification button. If you already subbed and you still haven't pressed it, just press it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is CWANless TV. Signing out, you guys.